funny man, Hammond.
Well, thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it. This is so good to see so many friends here. And if you just came randomly, sorry. Just thought someone else was on tonight. But it is good. I really do want to thank everyone for coming and supporting my son. He's just gone through 3 years, 7 months, and 10 days. Finished with having his paw taken out just over a week ago. And he's here tonight, so have a good weekend. I speak for a living. I was just lecturing at the bottom of Illinois in some unimportant place. What's it called? Southern Illinois. Where is it?
Southern Illinois.
Yeah, Southern Illinois. See, nobody cares. Beyond Champaign. Kind of deliverance land. Cambridge? No? Carbondale. That's where I was. I was just in Carbondale lecturing at the Southern Illinois. So I do this for a job. And so whenever they introduce me to speak, and they say, you know, Kim Hammond, and I'm sure there's people here tonight who don't know me, a ton of friends here, but I'm sure there's some people who saw my name. How many people saw my name and were expecting an Asian woman? Who's disappointed right now? I have to get up and deal with this all the time. I just lectured at Southern Illinois, I get up and introduce you. I can see kids talking. He's not an Asian. Or is he a woman? That's really disappointing. You send emails to people, you're like, hi, and you meet them, and then they're like, they think you're an Asian woman. I have to live this my whole life. My mum gave me a girl's name. It's the worst name in the world. It's like, I often ask my mum, why did you name me Kim? You know what she named my sister? She named my sister Jamie. Think about it for a moment. Something that wasn't drugs in the 70s involved. You know, I'm Australian, if you haven't heard by my accent. And normally when I do, I've headlined here a few times, and I do kind of speaking gigs around the world. I'll often have to explain to people I'm Australian, not British. And I normally say, this is what a British person sounds like. Charlie bit me. My wife told me one of her best friends, Jen Moss, can't tell the difference. It sounds British and Australian. It sounds the same. Does it sound the same to you?
No.
No, it sounds different? That's just Jen who's got it wrong. Okay, sorry, Jen. I don't want to embarrass you. I thought everyone would be with you saying it sounds the same. We don't like to be called British. It's like us calling you Canadian. Do you like that? You don't like that, do you? So I'm Australian. We lived here 4 years now. We love it. It's a wonderful place. But you know, for me, I love food. If you look at me, I'm kind of purpose-built for food. It's so hard to decide what to eat because I'm trying to eat healthy, right? There's nothing healthy here. My wife is like a Nazi, right? So I'm like, I'll have like the healthiest thing. I'd stuff it, give me the chicken tenders. But like, you know, it's hard because like I'm like an addict. Like if I could fondue my arm and eat it right now, I would. I have no shame. I'm like a crackhead. I'll just lick it in front of you. I wouldn't care. You know you have a problem when you're willing to do that in front of people. You understand? But when you scoop from the Nutella jar, you know you need to go to AA for something. And I'm trying to lose weight. I've lost like 40 pounds recently, and I just encourage us to fall off the wagon. It's like, holy shit, I look really good. I should eat tacos tonight. Most people think I look skinny. So it's in your mind, right? You think you're skinny in your mind, and. But I have a weird body, okay, already. I already have a weird body. I have a weird name. I also have a weird body. You probably can't tell from me standing up here. But I'm going to do this one-off for you. One-off. I'm going to ask the tallest person in the room, which I think is my friend Joel Murphy. Joel, how tall are you?
6'3".
Yeah, come on. Anyone taller than 6'3" here? No, Joel. Give Joel Murphy a big hand. Very, okay, this is a one-off party trick that I do when people are very drunk. They laugh a lot. When I want to get a good laugh at a party, I'll ask the tallest person in the room to come up and stand next to me. Just to get a picture of what I've had to live with my whole life. Now, who would agree? Joel's a good-looking guy, isn't he? Yeah. Crap, I don't think they're very good. That was awful, buddy. He's got a full set of hair and he's wealthy. You should use his own company. magic here. Now I want you to watch this. Ready? On the count of three. Ready? Why don't you call out 1, 2, 3. 1,
2, 3.
Sit down. I have the freaking biggest trunk in the world. Look at my trunk. Sitting down, I'm 6'8". I could beat the shit out of Joel right now. There's no magic here. There's no wires. You're experiencing this in three-dimensional right now. Now here's the big drum roll, please. Ready? Drum roll. Joel, unfold your legs. Look at my little hobbit legs. You need to stand up and have a look if you can't see it. I have freaking hobbit legs. This is my curse. So you need to understand, Joel and I, we go to movies, we're good buddies. Nobody messes with us in the picture theatre. You understand the movies? People are talking out there. I'm like, shut the hell up back there! People are like, holy crap, look at those couple guys. They're 6'8". That guy's 400 pounds. He's going to kick the shit out of us. Road rage in the car. We're Joel and I. People kind of stop. I'm like, I'll handle this. What are you doing? They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I can't stand up. We're in the movie theatre the other day. Someone picked on us. I was like, you better keep walking. Joel, you'll have to get this one. I'll have to. I'm literally the only guy who wants to make the wheelchair Olympics. Think about it for a second. I would be the freaking Shaquille O'Neal of the wheelchair Olympics. I'd like to just do it and then stand up. Suckers! I'm very tall. I'd give Joel a big hand, would you? I have a weird body, man. And here's what's really funny. My wife is tall, right? She's tall. She's all legs, no body, and a head. So we start dating. I won't point her out tonight because she said, you better not point me out. I'll kill you. I'm sick of you making fun of my no body. People looking at me like I'm some sort of freak. So she's somewhere in this room. Let's look for the person with the gigantic legs. Look at a spider. That's my wife, right? So we start dating, right? We start dating, and then we get serious. I propose to her, and then we have to talk. Like, do we want to get married? What's going to happen? Because, like, she's all legs and a head, and I'm all body with hobbit legs. Number one, it's hard to shop for me, you understand? I have to shop at like the 4XL big man shop from the waist up, and Baby Target from the waist down. I have to get clothes from the set of Lord of the Rings. This isn't funny. It's a burden that I have to carry. You can imagine us working out, like, first how to have sex, and then secondly, sorry, I know it's PG tonight, it was only my kids and the Brian Warner's son, so I'm starting for life, there's no other kids yet. Don't think about mum and dad having sex for us. The limit still comes. Secondly, once we had the kids, we were like, what are these kids going to turn out like? What if they get her no body and my legs? We've got the cast of Lord of the Rings here. Like jockeys, you know? We're making winning jockeys. That's going to happen. You roll the dice, that's what's going to happen. Or you're going to get like Danny Longlegs and a freaky short trunk, or I don't know. But thank goodness my son's got her legs and my trunk. And my boys are tall, but, you know, I won't embarrass them, but you know, it's a burden when you have a weird body. Anybody else have a weird body here? Anyone sitting next to someone who has a weird body? Just point them out. Just point them out, because I don't realise. We love America, but there was some words we had to get adjusted to when we moved here. You say different words to us. We got here and I was like, hey, sidewalk, footpath, we call it footpath. Or I'd say to people, hey, just put that in her boot. And people were like, what? Put it where? It's the trunk, you know? The trunk in the junk, it's boot, it's just different words, you understand? But it got a little tricky at work because people kept coming up to me and saying, look, we're rooting for you. Really, we're rooting for you. Congratulations on the new job, rooting for you. I kept saying, I'm like, man, it's really awkward for an Australian to hear that. Because in my country, that means dirty sex. Well, I didn't want to hit the business manager was rooting for me, you understand? It was just like I took my kids to a baseball game and was like, root for the home team. They're like, Daddy, what are they doing to the home team? The hard thing was I went up to the Dells. Who's been up to the Dells?
Oh, yeah.
And I went into the store to buy my kids some thongs, you see. I went in and I said, hey guys, some thongs for my kids and me. Size 8, black and rainbow ones for the children. She's like, security. You don't call them thongs, you call them flip-flops, right? And so that was awkward. And then my wife, we homeschool because we're nerds, and we hate the school system here, and so no, we don't really. We love it. No, we do it because if it's Australian, blah blah blah. We hate it. No, we don't. So we travel, blah blah blah. So we're doing the Australian system. My wife said, "Can you go buy some stationery goods for our kids?" Which I'm quite happy to do. I'm a good dad. Take my kids into Walmart, I'm looking around, there's a pencil case, can't find some of the goods on the list. Called the ladies over and said, look, I need some rubbers for my sons. There's an extra large one, a Dora the Explorer, get a rainbow one for the little fella. Security. This is happening way too often. It goes the other way too, like the Rudy one. The other one that made me laugh, I kid you not, we just get here, this guy walks up to me and he's like, hi, I'm Randy. And I'm like, dude, you should give that to yourself. You don't go telling people that. You get arrested for that. You understand? In that country, that means horny. You've seen Austin Powers. What was funny, what was really funny, is that you Americans wear these things at Disney, or at least the fat people do. What are they called? Fanny packs. Holy crap, never say that to an Australian. You know what a fanny is in Australia? It's a vagina. Funniest thing, this guy comes up and goes, swear it's the truth. He says, hi, I'm Randy. You like my fanny pack? I'm rooting for you. Words. I do love America. I love America a little more than you do. I do. I love America more than you. I love the schools, but I love you. I do love you. I do love the schools, I'm joking. You don't believe me, I named my son Jordan after Michael Jordan. Boom, I love America more than you. Yeah. I named him some after a sporting star. No. Okay, don't believe me? And then I don't think this crowd is convinced. Okay, my second son, I named him Carter after Dr. Carter from ER. Put your hand up if you're committed enough to name after an American soap opera. Anyone? No? Okay. So not convinced? Alright, this is the big one. I used to celebrate July 4th by myself in Australia. So the fireworks up, yay! Australians would throw things at me. Why don't you move there, you Yankee lover? So we did. 4 years ago we got on a plane. It was 110 degrees in my country. I had thongs on, shorts, t-shirt. Get on the plane, we land in O'Hare, December 16. Now look at me people. I'm built like a seal. I'm purpose built for snow. And I opened the doors at the O'Hare airport and I was like, damn, it's cold! It was so freaking cold. It was like Narnia without Aslan, you understand? And like it took a long time to get adjusted, right? Like we were staying, friends said, look, we'll put you up in our basement. Basement? Like, we don't have basements in Australia. My wife said, where are they putting us up? And I'm like, I don't know. We don't have any basements. She's like, is it nice? I'm like, the only basement we knew was Silence of the Lambs. That's why I lower my children down the well and hose them. How's that work? Thanks to the Hospitality America. But actually, it was quite a nice basement in the end. But we kind of found America strange. You know, when I get here, I say to my boss, like, what teams do I root for? And I've switched. We say Berwick, but I'm a good American. Now, so when I say I root for the Bears, who roots for the Bears here? Who here's never going to use the word root again after tonight? No, I think it's okay. We're in America, you can use that word. I root for the Bears. And then I said to them, we're a Bulls fan. We love the Bulls. Who's a Bulls fan? Yeah. Not as much. Yeah. Who cares? Derek Rose has come back. Who cares? But I love the Bulls. They're a big. And then who's a Black Hawk fan? Yeah. Good boy. always seem to laugh in audiences all over America. The Black Hawk fans are always the ones missing teeth. They're always like, yeah! They're kind of like crazy. Black Hawk fans are crazy. So Black Hawks, easy. Bull. Bears, easy. Bull. Bulls, easy. Baseball. Who here is a White Sox fan? Okay, that is everywhere I go in America. 3 people who don't give a crap. Woo! That sucks. So then who's a Cubs fan? Yeah! It's cracking me up, right? Cubs fans are like, yeah! They're like Black Hawk fans with teeth, right? So we don't have baseball in my country, right? So we go down to Wrigley Field. Who's been to Wrigley Field? Yeah! So my boss takes me to Wrigley Field for the first time. I know nothing about baseball, not a single thing. So I'm like seeing people drinking and high-fiving. It is like a debauchery down there. Who's been down there? And they're like, wow! And I'm like, man, this is exciting! Right? I'm like, see your Cubs? Like, Cubs gear, Cubs hats, drinking beer, Cubs crushing beer hands on the head, Cubs! I'm like, so you guys win a lot? Do you win a lot? Why are you crying? Stop crying. Why are you taking your clothes off? These people, and like I Google on my phone, you haven't won in 105 years. Why are you so happy? Do you know the Cubs have not won in 105 years? Who knew that? Yeah. They suck really bad, and yet the fans are crazy. And here's what's funny, I do this all over America. Cubs fans are like, you better stop that right now. I liked you up until now. I miss my Cubs, man. Cubs fans are crazy, right? Like, Cubs fans will sacrifice a goat to try and win. Did you know this? They took a freaking goat and sacrificed it. And in fact, here's the truth. Sometime within the 80s or 90s, they almost were going to win a game to get in, and some fan leant over the edge and he found the ball. What was his name?
Steve.
Barton. You know his name! You've not won anything! You guys, I freaking hate that guy. Solely collectively, the Cubs people are like, you ever find him, you can kill him, we'll let you off. That guy, who knows, that guy had to be escorted from the stadium in fear of his life.
They had to ship him to Florida.
That he had to move to Florida and change his name. Wow. And you suck! You never win! This is the confusing bit. Now I've lost all the Cubs fans. They're like, okay, we're leaving now. That's it. You can't say anything about my precious Cubs. But I like baseball. It's kind of hard to follow, but it's been kind of fun. The other thing we find really different about America is that if you live in the city of Chicago or out here, you're normal. As soon as you go outside of Chicago, it kind of becomes Kentucky. You know what I mean? And it's weird for us because, it's crazy. Like, we were in Tennessee, and it was like Veterans Day. Who's ever been to Veterans Day? You know Veterans Day, where they lie in the field and they wave flags? Now remember, I don't know anything about American culture, so I arrive, and it's Veterans Day, and I see these guys dressed up in Confederate soldier uniforms. And I'm like, oh, actors! And this guy with me, he's like, shh, no, they're sons of the Confederate. And I'm like, there's real people who wear these, they wave the Confederate flag. I'm like really innocent. I'm like, did they lose? He's like, ooh, touchy subject. My wife's like, don't do that joke. People are always like, ooh, touchy. But it's weird for us as Australians that you can wave that flag and like nobody cares. Well, some care. I'm like, isn't that offensive to black people? And they're like, yes, but it's complicated. That's just country. It's kind of complicated. We fly to San Francisco, and I get there with my family, and my friend's like, listen, I need to warn you. It's crazy here. And I'm like, what do you mean? Who's been to San Francisco? San Francisco on Fridays, people ride to work naked in protest of the traffic. Who knew that? You can Google it right now. Probably don't Google it, you'll get a bunch of sweaty butts. But there is an argument right now in the San Francisco papers about whether these riders should bring a modesty towel for the cafe when they stop for a coffee. Who thinks that's disgusting? How about you bring your freaking clothes, you weirdo? That's what I reckon. Like, I'm like, are you serious? just like, he's like, yeah, seriously, people stop. And could you imagine in Chicago, Caleb, you ride a bike, don't you? Everyone say hello to Caleb. Caleb's single and desperate. And why would you imagine Caleb got on a bike? Caleb, just stand up for a second so people can see you. Caleb, stand up. Everyone turn around and look at Caleb. Hard to work out why he's single. This little weirdo. So Caleb's riding his bike. Imagine he gets up in the morning as a single guy and he's like, I think it's a little too crowded around Bolingbroke. I'm going to protest today. Gets on his bike and starts riding to work. Could you imagine the police pulled him over? Excuse me, sir. Why have you no clothes on? Well, I'm protesting. They would taser his ass. Before he got the words out, protest. Would you agree? Yeah. That would never happen in Chicago. But you're in the city, they drop you in a cement truck before they let you get naked. My wife's a reverse racist. Do you know what a reverse racist is? She only likes black children. Every time she sees black little children, she's like, oh, they're adorable. They're adorable. Oh, they're so cute. Look how cute they are. Exact white family can walk behind and she never says anything. My kids are like, you're a reverse racist, Mum. And she's like, no, I'm not. It's like, you only like black children. We try to teach our kids about race. We took them to Martin Luther King. But like when we first got here to America, we went to a Bulls game. My son was 5. Just a little boy who went into the bathroom. It was like halftime. And the room is filled with like angry black people, you understand? And like it's the south side of Chicago, it's crazy, right? And I'm in the bathroom, it's like packed with black people, and my little boy's taking a pee. And he turns around to me and he says, Dad! There's a heck of a lot of black people in here! And like every angry black man looked at me. And I'm like, sorry, he's retarded. I got out of there just barely. Barely. So it's funny with that joke. People are like always really offended that I said retarded. Really? Teach my kids something here. You know, and we live in East Aurora, right? We live in East Aurora. Like East Aurora is like, was the hood. It's not the hood now, it was the hood. People are like, you live in East Aurora, it's so scary. It's not really. It is a lot of Hispanic people, right? And they're my peeps. My mum was born in Egypt. I love the Hispanic community. Who's Hispanic here? No one. 3 people. Okay. It's a white audience. We need more scones. You know, it's like... you know, Aurora is like 80-90% Hispanic, right? When I was born in Egypt, I grew up with food and breaking plates and craziness, right? Like, I was never called a white Australian. I was a first immigrant log. I was someone from another country. I come here and people call me white. It's the weirdest thing. I'm not white. But it's so funny, like, we drive through McDonald's to get food for my kids, and every order in East Aurora, they can never understand us. So I'll be like, hey, can I have like a Big Mac, a wrap, and 3 kids' meals, and it'll be like 4 fillet of fish and some fries. Every time. And like, every time I order, I'll be like, can I have that? And they're like, sorry, sir. And they change it to like the whitest person in the restaurant to try and understand my accent. And so it was funny the other day, well, a while ago, we drove up, and like, this happens all the time to us. And so we were getting the food, and my little boy at the back yells out, Dad! Why do the brown people never get our order right? The lady, man, is like Hispanic. Like, she's like a mama. She's handing me the food, and I'm like, sorry, he's retarded. He threw it off. Man, it's so funny. I took actually my youngest son Jordan to Michigan, and my wife recently used to get a camp, youth camp. And I love playing tricks with Americans. Like, I just sort of play up the Australian accent. So we pulled into McDonald's again. It's in Michigan, so it's a whole bunch of rednecks, right? Who's from Michigan here? And likes to hunt. And whenever you meet Michigan people, isn't this true? Like, we pull up in the drive-thru and I'm like, hi, we're Australians, we're lost. And she's like, well, where are you meant to be? And I said, Wisconsin. And she goes, holy crap, you're in Michigan. And then she does what every Michigan person does. She goes, you're here. She goes, wow. I was thinking about a Michigan the person to do that freaky thing. Is that what they only teach them in school there? Hi, you're a redneck and probably won't do anything but hunt, but remember you live here. It's true, right? She's like, you're here! And I'm like, where's Wisconsin? She's freaking out. Over here! My wife, man, is losing her mind. Right? She's losing her mind, like gonna wet herself with laughter. And my little boy without missing a beat goes, damn it, Dad, I'm gonna miss the ballerina recital! And I'm like, well, how do I get there? She's like, go north, there's a bridge. It's like, north, there's a bridge? She's sending me to Canada. Back to Wisconsin. This is how retarded the Michigan people are. There's a lake, just head north. Kill some moose on the way or something. Like, it was so funny to mess. I love messing with Americans. Only because I love you. Did I say my wife's a reverse racist? Yeah. Okay. She's going to kill me for saying that. I love to kind of do adventurous stuff in my mind, but I'm not really very sporty, as you can tell. I am sponsored by Jordan. Juarez, who's the manager at the Jordan store, gives me 4XLs on sale, but only because me and black men love 4XLs. That's the reason. But I like the idea of being sporty, right? When I was in New Zealand, they have this thing called the Zorb. Who's seen the Zorb? Anyone seen the Zorb? It's a round ball of air with another round ball of air with wires and a small hole. And the idea is, with the Zorb, is you get in it because you're an idiot. And my wife and I went to New Zealand on a holiday, and so I climbed in this thing. Well, firstly, I said to the guy, how much? He's like, $20, and we take it up to the top of the hill, and then you get in it, and then you run like a mouse on a wheel. Do I look like I run a lot? My hobbit legs are not built for running. I'm more of a shot putter, you understand? Or a wrestler in a wheelchair. So, I watched the first couple of guys get in this thing called the Zorb. They climb in, and then the guy kind of pushes you off, and you run. The only is you run as fast as you can, then gravity sucks you to the edge, and then you spin down. It's this kind of washing machine experience, you understand? Then you vomit, you get out, and clean it out, and then you come back to the top of the hill. Why do men do this? Do you see any women getting in this? It's all idiot men. So, the guy, I watched a couple guys go before me. The first thing as a fat man, you're trying to work out, am I going to fit through the hole? Because that's kind of embarrassing if you're stuck and they're going to have to push you in. My big butt hanging outside as these guys try to, you paid you $20. And I watched the guy go before me, and he runs, and he kind of gets bounced around because he didn't get enough speed. The whole point is you have to get enough speed to get this thing to really work, you understand? So finally, the guy's like, run as fast as you can, Forrest, run. I'm not really built for speed. So I get in this thing, and I push off, and I'm running as fast as my little hobbit legs will take me, you understand? But I'm really putting a sweat up. I'm like, I got this, baby. And then it sucks you to the edge. But here's the problem. When you're a heavy object in an innate round ball of air, there's no eject button. And I'm coming down the hill, and it's like, earth, sky, boom, earth, sky, boom, and the thing begins to bounce. And I look at the side of me, and so you're meant to kind of roll down the hill, and you get out, and it's like, yay! I bounced way past the finish line, over the barrier, now I'm heading for the freeway. And I can see the guy who runs the place, he's like, oh shit, and he's in the truck, and he's racing me down the hill. And I can't stop this thing. I'm just like, holy crap, I'm so... Like, it's just like... And like, it's like a heavy ball inside, like, what was I thinking when I climbed in here? And like, literally, he has to kind of like reverse the truck and kind of stop me coming into oncoming traffic. And when I get out, I vomit, and it's like, hey, that was so much fun. Thanks. I'm glad I paid $20 for that. You know, One of my best friends in Australia is really skinny and really fit, like most of my friends. And he said to me, look, I want to take you to a water park. Do I look like I enjoy water parks? Like water parks to me, not really. Because for a fat man, water slides are risk versus reward. You understand? The risk of a heart attack climbing 4 flights of stairs versus the reward of 30 seconds of woo! Now all my clothes are sticky. But he's my best friend, and he asked me, so I'm climbing the stairs with him, and he wants to go on one of those things, what do you call them, like a figure eight? Inner tube, that's the technical term. We have a water slide expert here, give her a big hand. So here I am, and we're going to go up this thing with this inner tube, and all these kids are rushing past us because they're way skinnier and fast, right? I'm going to keep going. I'm going to push you off the edge, you little punks. Little fat man, carry the inner tube. Don't you hate other people's kids? They're around the corner when no one can see, just push them into the side of the road. They tell your parents. We get to the top, and the idea is I sit at the back. So I sit down this whirly thing, and the thing goes up like this. And then my skinny friend's trying to climb on it, which is like almost impossible because it's at a funny angle. And like, when you're a fat man and you're like in that awkward, looks like I'm giving birth, you understand? Legs are over it, I can't move at all, it's just embarrassing. And all I can hear is the water. You know those terribly rude girls you hated in high school? 15, she's got the walkie-talkie. Fat man, can you increase the water pressure? No, it's a fat man, I can't push him. I need 3 helpers here. And you're like, oh dear God, this is so embarrassing, right? It's embarrassing. And so finally my friend climbs on, 3 little 14-year-old helpers, her gang, kind of push us off. Now it's a party. Because the advantage of being a fat man is that we hit hyperspeeds untested on that baby before. The reason I know they're untested because there were sparks coming off, and I don't know if that's the And I know that we're going so fast because we've exceeded the speed of sound. Because I can hear every 3 seconds my friend screaming like a little girl, but I'm catching it behind. That's how fast we're going. We're hydroplaning down this baby. And again, there's no off switch. You understand? No off switch. So like, as we come into the bottom, I realise, holy crap, we're not stopping. It's like the Zorb all over again. And as we speed up and hit the water, I just see the attendants, they're just terrified. Because you have to finish it. It's like, yay! We have not finished it. We're using part of the slide that engineers didn't think we're going to get used. I'm sure some engineers are like, okay, what's the fattest man to get his ass up here? Let's just put another 10 feet on. How about do it? We're safe, okay. We're approaching the end of the slide, and I'm thinking, holy shit, we're in the 4th part of the car park. When we break through the barrier. I'm going to kill my skinny best friend at Waterworld. So we go, and like I said to him, put your feet out. That's the plan. Put your feet out. So he like, puts his skinny little crow feet out and stop. We just touch the top and then we come back down. Now everyone is gathering around with their phones. So this is awesome. This is the best thing I've ever seen. Chris like falls off. He's like, oh my gosh. And I get off and the attendant says to me, excuse me sir, where's your shorts? Like I'm wearing them. And I realised in the velocity the shorts had gone all the way up my anus. And I'm like, that's why I didn't want to go on the thing in the first place. Anyway, a few years later I'm with my team, I lead a not-for-profit. This is where I do all my lecturing. And they're like, let's do a trust weekend. You know what a trust weekend is? And I'm scarred for life from the Zorb and the water slide. So I'm like, no trust falls. I'll be the observer and the cheering. Yay! That person, yay! No one wants to catch me, you understand? That's what happens when you're the fattest person. So Finally, they do this exercise called a leap of faith. Has anyone heard of it? You climb up a tree with a harness on. Has anyone ever worn one of those harnesses, one size fits all, rock climbing? I freaking hate those things. Firstly, it's a lie. One size does not fit all. I put them on, it looks like I'm trying to get like, have it up like a thong. Thank you for feeling my pain. I mean, seriously, I put that on, it is so it is like no photos from the waist down. You have to blur things out in team photos. It's awful. And then, I'm not very cat-like, but you have to climb these little pegs that climb up this tree. Right? Which, that should be the leap of faith right there. Holy crap, you made it up the tree. Let's clap him and come back down. But they make you stand on this ledge. And the whole team below is meant to cheer. It's a team building exercise. You understand? Who's done this for corporate, work? So they're cheering, Kim, 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 leap, leap, leap. And there's a trapeze, and the idea is you leap and you grab the trapeze and they lower you down. Do I look like a leaper to you? These legs are not built for leaping. So I am trying to be a good team leader of this not-for-profit. I leap like a freaking cat thrown off a... You ever seen a cat when you throw it? Like this. Holy shit! I missed the trapeze. And now my team is on the ground. They're not cheering. They're laughing their ass off as I fall and try to fly back up. Have you ever fallen and you're flying and you're like, maybe if I do that, I can reverse gravity. So I am falling, and then the funniest bit is when the harness kicks in. Because the 16-year-old guy gets rope burn. Like, holy crap! And he's like pulling on it. The harness pulls, and I'm screaming at 4 octaves higher than I've ever spoken before. They lower me down, and I just lay there in the fetal position. I look around, and no one is standing. 12 of my staff are on the ground holding their stomachs, and I'm yelling, "Don't look at me! Don't look at me!" Because the harness has gone up my anus and disappeared. And, like, literally, my son was there, and he's crying because, why are they hurting Daddy? And I said to my wife, she comes over, she's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Just burn the harness. No one else wear that harness ever again. No one, just burn it. And let's never talk about it again." When you have a sick kid, you have to have some faith to believe they're going to get healed. They're going to get better. And I really appreciate you coming out tonight and joining with us that my son has beaten this thing. That it took a lot of faith in my wife. She is the most incredible person in the world. And even though she only likes black babies. And, we have the faith to believe that he's beaten this. We hope that, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, he had the port removed from his chest and half of it broke off. We were rushed to the heart hospital called Hope in Chicago, and he went under major kind of heart surgery. They kind of went up to his groin muscle to remove the broken part off. It was very scary, but they got it, and he's here tonight. And I don't know what you're going through in your life, whether it's financial troubles, whether it's marriage, whether it's hoping for a new job, but I want you to believe that maybe you have those things inside of you that maybe you didn't believe before that you could do. I'm not the fittest or the fastest person, but since my kids were little, I told them I was a ninja. You like your kids about what you can do? I tell my kids, I'm a ninja. I can do anything. And, I think all of life is like a faith of leap. You take this leap and you don't know what's going to happen. We didn't know if he was going to beat this, but we hoped and prayed he would, and he had. We're so proud of him. Proud of all the boys for what they've gone through the last few years. And I'll finish with this story. I was in Australia. I actually got to spend the largest young people's sporting event in Australia. 3,000 young people come for a whole weekend to speak, to do sport, and at night time they have a couple of big concerts, rock concerts. And I was asked to speak to these young people, 3,000 young people competing in sports. And it is like a U2 concert. I mean, big stage, 2 meters off the floor, and it's the last night of the last concert, and I'm giving the last talk to these young people, trying to inspire them to give their life to the community and to give their life to something greater and better than themselves. I'm telling the story, and it's been a long weekend, and I'm almost finished, and I'm inching my way towards the front of the stage. And you can imagine there's 3,000 young people crowded in this kind of hangar on the floor, sitting right up to the front, you know. And as I'm telling the last story of the last night, I take a step and there's no stage. And as I come down, I can see these girls. It's like these 4 15-year-old girls that literally shit themselves. Because I'm about to kill them. And you know what's funny? How, you know they say your life flashes in front of your eyes in slow motion? It's true. Because as I'm stepping, all I can think is, holy crap, I'm going to kill those girls and not finish my story. And I'm going to have to get a forklift in to remove my body. And as I'm falling down, I literally remembered my ninja skills. And like a cat, I pulled my back leg forward, and I'm not lying. I've got it on video. I stepped forward between one girl and stepped over another, and literally the hot girl was like, and I was like, yeah, baby! And like 3,000 young people were like, yeah, baby! And I'm like, someone get this girl a diaper, she just crapped herself. And I'm telling you, I look like freaking Thor when I hit the ground, you know? And it made me think, you know, I believed with all my heart that I could do it. As I fell to the ground, I thought I could die, take out 4 or 5 cheesy little skinny anorexic girls with me, or I could step over those girls and walk away a hero. And I'm telling you, get up in front of a crowd, do a 5-minute thing, do stand up, believe your marriage will get better. You can do it. Just believe you're a ninja. God bless you. Thank you for listening.